All right, guys, let's get into video number 4. I hope you've enjoyed the first 3 videos. I hope it's made you think a little bit more. And I hope you're feeling really excited and motivated to continue on this journey and be like, yeah, this is like, this body dysmorphia thing's not going to hang around much longer. Hopefully you're starting to feel that. All right, so in this video, we're going to go into the 4 planes in a bit more detail. So I mentioned them in video 1, which is our spiritual, our emotional, our mental, and our physical planes. And this is just such an important concept. And this is a very complex one. And I'm only going into the real basics in this video, right? It's something we're going to go into in a lot more depth in chapter 2 and then chapter 3 of the Academy, because there's a lot to it, right? So the planes as a whole, not mine, didn't come up with them, been around forever, right? But I've adapted them and I've added some bits and pieces to make it a bit more relevant to body dysmorphia and what we're doing, all right? So some of it's mine, some of it's not. Again, if there's anything I need to let you know that's really not mine, I will. But yeah, that's basically what we're going to be going into in this video. So yeah, as I said, we have our spiritual, our emotional, our mental, and our physical plane. And also remembering that I mentioned that we have our spiritual and emotional are our feminine planes, and our physical and mental are our masculine planes. Now, we don't go into masculine and feminine energy in chapter 1 or in chapter 2. We do that in chapter 3 of the Academy if you're to progress that far. Basically, all you need to know about that is they're not gender specific, right? So as a man, I have masculine energy and I have feminine energy that we need to be aware of. And what it will basically do when we understand where someone might be struggling, like what plane or planes they're struggling in, we can really understand what energy they're probably neglecting as well, right? So just to give you guys a real quick rundown, masculine is very much the doing, the structure, the rigidity, the analytical thinking, the logical, the do, right? Feminine is more the receiving, the softer, the nourishing, the caring, the feeling, the emotions, the that side of it, right? Picture it like a creek bed. The creek bed is the masculine, it's the structure. It gives structure to the feminine, and the feminine is the water, right? So it can go anywhere, but it needs to be contained in that structure. All right, again, not gender specific. And often when I'm working with someone, especially women, what we find is just because of the way the world is and these guys have potentially been through in childhood or past relationships, they've had to step more into their masculine energy, be more of that boss bitch, that independent woman that's always doing and never allowing themselves to think and feel, right? I very often work with people that haven't cried for years and they cry for the first time with me, right? That's an indication for me that they're very much more in their masculine planes, right? Or in their masculine energy. They're very much, obsessing around their body and their mental side of things, and then neglecting their emotional, neglecting their trust, or they don't have self-trust, self-love, lacking connection, right? So we can start to piece together their puzzle and understand which of these planes we really need to focus on, right? So again, that's something that, if you guys are to progress, we really start to nail down on, and it is so beneficial when we do that. But hopefully just going through this, you're going to start to understand where you're probably really strong and which of these you need to start working on. And at the end, I'm going to give you some things to do for each of these just to really start to dial these in. Again, all of these little pieces are going to help you just be a better version of yourself and then just like see that body dysmorphia fade away. All right. So what I've done is, spiritual, emotional, mental, physical. And then you can see above, I've sort of added an attribute or a characteristic, whatever you want to call it, to it. So our spiritual is where we develop our self-connection or our connection just as a whole, connection to universe, connection to spirit, etc. Our emotional plane is where we find and work on our self-love and our self-trust, our ability to actually trust ourselves. Mental is our self-belief and our self-worth, self-esteem area. And our physical is our self-optimization, so everything in our physical world, all right? So as I mentioned in video 1, the trouble with a lot of solutions around body dysmorphia and becoming more confident in our body solely revolves around our physical, right? Our training, our nutrition, how do we change the body? And a little bit in our mental, right? Very masculine planes, I've got to do the work, do, right? Which is great. We need that, obviously. However, if we use, say, emotional eating or binge eating as an example of this, right? If I've got someone that is emotionally eating and they're unable to stick to their training and their nutrition, right? Now, let's just say we were to, okay, cool, yeah, I've got a client emotionally eating, I self-sabotage, and I can't stick to my calories. Do you think it's going to be better for us to look just at the physical plane and adjust their calories and look at their training, give them a new training program? Or is it going to be better to work out why they emotionally eat, what the trigger is, and how to actually get to the bottom of that and solve that? So that's no longer a problem. So they stop going over their calories all the time. So we can then recenter on this and start to get results. Like, what do you think is going to be better? Probably finding the root cause of the emotional eating, right? Seems obvious. Not in the fitness industry. Like, just eat less, move more, be more motivated. That'll solve it. Don't worry about your emotional eating. Just try not to. Like, okay, gotcha. And that's where these planes come in, right? So let's just say we've got someone that's emotionally eating. We can identify, cool, what's the trigger? Why do you do this? What makes you do this? It might be when someone says something. It might be when you scroll social media. It might be when you've had a fight with your partner or whatever it might be. And there's thoughts and beliefs and stories that come up about yourself. And you're like, this is too much. I don't know how to deal with this. And I throw in the towel and I eat like a motherfucker, right? Chances are there's something here in this self-love, in this emotional plane that needs to be dealt with. Something that needs to be let go of. There's emotions that need to be able to be regulated and handled better so they don't lead to the emotional eating, right? Maybe there's a component down here of self-worth, right? Maybe the trigger is they just don't feel like they're worthy or capable of creating this because they just, don't believe in themselves, right? So maybe there's some stuff in the mental plane we need to look at. Maybe they're so disconnected to the world as a whole and to themselves that, again, they just lack this worth, this, like, why do I even bother? Like, everything's out to get me. So maybe there's something lacking here and there's a disconnect. Because you can see we've got arrows pointing every which way and we've got a cycle. All of these things interact with one another. They all bounce off on one another. They can all help one another. And if I've got someone that is experiencing a problem in one of these, right? Yeah, we can look at that plane itself, right? If they've got an emotional problem, we look at their emotional stuff, obviously. But hey, we can also look at their mental, we can look at their physical, we can look at their spiritual plane, tweak this, tweak this, tweak this, get everything on a level playing field that can actually really help this, right? Because if I've got someone that, let's just say they just do not trust themselves to follow something, like, cool, let's look at that, but then let's get them more connected to themselves so they love themselves more and they just, like, I want this for myself, I'm motivated, right? We've improved their connection. Let's get them seeing some physical results. Let's get them like going on a run or getting some PBs in the gym, just seeing their body change. Like, that's going to make them more confident, right? And then let's work through some belief systems and way they sort of perceive the world and some thoughts and judgments and whatever around themselves. Let's optimize those and give them some stuff to work on there. Do you think by doing that, that's going to help them actually trust themselves more and love themselves more? Like, probably. In fact, definitely. All right, so it's not just as simple as if you've got a physical problem, looking in the physical realm, we need to look at other pieces. And this is where, again, the further you go into the academy, the further we're going to dive into this as it relates to you and your specific situation, because everyone's going to be a little bit different, right? That example I just used then may really resonate with you. If so, great, right? You've maybe got a bit more awareness, but there's always a reason you do things. There's always a root cause we need to find if we want to actually get true results. All right, and we just need to look further than just what our calories are doing. All right, so this is just basically like a rundown of what all these planes kind of mean, what they consist of. Again, as I said, we go into this in a lot more depth later on, but this is enough for now, right? So your spiritual, your self-connection plane is your connection to a greater power, right? So there's probably going to be some of you that are spiritually in tune. You might meditate, you might believe in a universe or a higher power. If so, sweet, that won't feel that weird to you. There's probably going to be some of you that think that's all woo-woo, right? If that's the case, like, be very open-minded. And if you can't get around that, this is probably not for you, because we're going to dive into this a lot more. And if you want to continue to neglect spirit, neglect the spiritual side of yourself and the universe as a whole, the fact there is a greater power, again, can be God, can be universe, can be whatever the fuck you want it to be. It actually doesn't matter. It's not about religion. Right? If you want to continue to neglect that and you don't want to buy into that, I would say probably just like jump out of the video. This is probably not for you, right? Because this is such an important component of what we are doing here, and you need to be on board with this, basically, right? So understanding the significance of spirit and oneness, connection to your purpose on this planet. So I spoke about that in, I think, the second video. It's where we, actually feel worthy of being happy, abundant, and loved. Again, once you understand that you have the backing of the universe and we are all one, you understand that it is a birthright to be happy, abundant, and loved, right? And that's where we can improve that through dialing in our connection. Having deep trust in the universe, right? And fulfillment from the universe, being like, even when things are turning to shit, like I do this all the time, like, yep, I trust the universe has got my back. I'm going to put the work in, I'm going to do what I need to do, but I know there's a plan. I know the universe has my back and the timing is just as it needs to be. And again, whether that's true or not, it's kind of irrelevant. It's like, that serves me well to believe and condition myself to believe that the universe has my fucking back and I'm going to be okay. That works for me, right? If it doesn't work for you, like, that's fine, but that works for me. And I suggest, you make it work for you too. And being free of limitations, understanding you are limitless if you choose to be. If you see someone else achieving something, that means you can too. All right, that's our spiritual. Our self-love, our self-trust, our emotional plane is where we react and interpret the outside world, right? It's where all our judgments and comparisons sit. It's our ability to give and receive, right? So a real common one I get with people is just being unable to receive compliments, right? And maybe you resonate with that too. You're probably laughing right now if you do. You just suck at receiving compliments. You just don't believe people. You don't want to believe people. You think they're lying. They're just being nice, right? If you can't receive a compliment about yourself, think about what message that's sending to our unconscious. Like, oh, you're looking beautiful today. No, I'm not. Like, you're lying. Cool. I'm literally pushing that away and I'm conditioning myself to believe I'm not beautiful. That's what you're doing, right? Being able to receive compliments, just as an example, receive love, receive money, whatever it might be, is a fucking gift. And if you can't receive, then you're not going to really get very far, right? So start getting comfortable receiving compliments and do your best to take them on, right? It's where our self-doubt, projections, and fear all arise, any negativity, unregulated emotions, and drawing hopeless conclusions like I'm just doomed, like I can't do this, all my relationships end, like I can never change my body, right? It's all in our emotional plane, all very feminine, all very feeling. These are all very feeling, emotionally related things, all right? Our mental plane, so it's our first masculine plane where our self-worth and self-belief is. This is where all our thinking is, basically. Our thoughts, our judgments, our prejudices, our worth and value in the world. So how we see ourselves in context with the rest of the world, our worth in that. Our analytical thoughts, our processing, where our thoughts actually become reality. It's all our belief systems, the stories we tell ourselves. It's our focus, our clarity, and our direction in life, right? It's where we can also, if we're too overdeveloped in this, where we can burn out, where we can overthink, right? Where narcissistic traits can come in, and it's where our self-esteem is housed as well, right? So that is our mental plane. And then our physical plane is everything in our external reality. It's our action, it's our creating our dream body, recovery, sleep, nutrition, everything else to optimize ourselves physically and actually create what we want to create, all right? Now, I just wanted to touch on this real quick. When I say dream body creation, and I'll use this a lot, that doesn't mean you're most shredded, most aesthetic. Like, it might mean that for you, but I want you to start thinking about, cool, what is my dream body? For most people, it's not going to be the most shredded because that's going to require a level of commitment that is going to mean there's going to be sacrifices in other parts of your life. And if that's what you want, if you want to get on stage and do all that, then like, sweet, that's awesome. However, I know for me, my dream body isn't that. Like, my dream body, I need to be strong. I want to be fit. I want to be able to run, jump, do different things. I want to be able to just eat. Like, I want to be able to go out with my mates and eat food and not worry about calories. Like, I don't have to be super shredded. I just want to be fit, healthy, strong, nourished, and that's going to help me and serve me best, right? So yeah, dream body doesn't have to mean you're most shredded, and perhaps that's something you've been aiming for, and maybe that's not attainable or realistic or fits in with the rest of your lifestyle. All right, so yeah, there are 4 planes on a real basic level. Again, yeah, we go into these in a lot more depth, but it's just worth understanding where all these kind of sit and where different parts of you actually are housed and how we can start to optimize all of these planes to work together to help us produce a result. All right. Now, the last part of this video is, where do you need the most work? So, might be hard to understand where you need the most work just based on that, which is cool. But these are just some questions I want you to just start asking yourself to just start to dial in and optimize those just a little bit based on where we're at now. Right? So spiritual plane, again, you might be doing this. If so, all good. Start meditating and journaling, right? If you don't already, start meditating and journaling. These are just great ways to connect to ourselves, to connect to a higher power, and to explore ourselves at a deeper level, right? We don't know what we don't know. So if we continue to suppress stuff, we don't get things out, we don't talk about it, we don't journal, we don't sit and visualize things, we're going to be really, really disconnected. So start doing that. I'll try and link my meditation playlist. I'll link it below this video. A YouTube playlist where I've got all these different meditations, and there's all different types depending on what you want. So scroll through there, find one you like the sound of, and commit to doing one of those every day. Like, I can't express how much meditation has changed my life and how I see myself and how I overcome things, right? So that's dialing in the spiritual plane. Emotionally, what do you need to let go of? Is it a person? Is it something someone said to you? Is it, I don't know, it's something you went through? Is it like, what baggage are you still holding you just need to let go of? Right? And I'm not telling you to just magically let go of it right now. I just want you to simply identify it for now. So later down the track, if you continue on, we know what we're dealing with and we can work out what the solution is. Mental plane. So what limiting beliefs do you need to shift? What stories repeat in your head that you're like, I'm so done with this story. I'm so sick of believing this about myself. What are they and what do you want to change them to? All right. And physical plane, how can you better care for your body? Is it train better, train harder, train more? Is it eat better quality food, focus on better quality food, not just calories? Is it sauna, massage, better sleep, better recovery, less screen time? Like, how can you start to take care of your body better to set your intentions that you're worth more? Right, remember, how you treat your body is a reflection of how you value yourself and the worth you place on yourself. Treat your body like shit, you just can't value your body highly enough. You just don't value your body highly enough. You don't value yourself high enough. All right, so what can you start to do to shift that? All right, guys, so that's the end of this video. And that's the end of the bulk of chapter 1. The next video is just going to be basically cool, like where to from here. So I hope you've really enjoyed these 4 videos. As I said, like, nothing should be solved. I mean, if something's solved now, then that's awesome. That's not the intention. Hopefully now you've just got more awareness of like, okay, there is more to this than I thought. And this kind of makes sense why I've never been able to overcome my body dysmorphia and how I view myself, because there's a lot more to it that maybe I'm just not aware of. And that's fine, right? You don't know what you don't know. So hopefully you've gotten a lot more clarity. If there's anything you'd like to kind of touch on that's maybe come up for you, feel free to flick me a message. Instagram's probably the best way to do that. Just, flick us a DM and just ask me a question or let me know or whatever it might be. I'll do my best to help you. But hopefully you guys are at a point now where you're like, yeah, this is all really resonating and I'm feeling really motivated to dive into this more. Like, again, guys, this is not even beginning to scratch the surface of what the Academy has in store. I'll go into that more in the next video, but I hope to see you guys in chapter 2. As I said, if not, let me know how you found these 4 videos, if you found them helpful. Any feedback would be really, really appreciated, good or bad. Like, I don't mind, feedback's good. Catch you guys in the final video.